night tonight, and let's just get your thoughts on what's transpired this evening.
I thought LSU came out ready from the jump. Though we had guys try to do things that they're not, that's not characteristic of them. Just an overall poor performance.
Did you feel like when LSU was going on their run in the first half, and you kind of touched on it there, that your team felt pressure to maybe keep up every time down the floor, and that led to maybe rushing some shots and maybe settling for some threes too?
Yeah, I thought our shot selection was not good. Which is indicative of our shooting percentage. We had 8 assists. We didn't have very good point guard play at all. I thought that LSU was more physical and tougher.
In terms of the defense in the first half, when LSU was making their move, can you kind of break down what they were doing well and what allowed them to break the game open at that point?
Yeah, I thought they played a 1-3-1. We did not attack it as we were supposed to. We didn't get the ball into the teeth of the defense at the nail and then make spray out plays. We settled for 3-point shots. That about sums it up.
Note gave you a spark. If there's one guy that you look at, Note tried to bring you back in the first half. Could you talk a little bit as we wrap it up here about that run at the end of the first half that looked like it might get you back into it?
Yeah, I mean, JD, he can score the ball, but he's got to defend. He's got to move the ball more. Tonight, offensively, there was a lot of shallow, hollow, whatever word you want to use, stats.
Well, Coach, I know it was a frustrating night tonight. We appreciate you visiting with us for a few minutes. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Eric.
Turn over to the media. Hutch, start us off, please.
Keep all them in the line. I got something to tell them.
Yeah, Coach, was there anything in practice or shoot around or pregame that gave you any indication that was what unfolded in the first half or was going to happen?
No, I just think that as a team, we played so well against Georgia, and you got to understand as a young student athlete that the next game is a completely different game. And so there's no carryover. So, I mean, look, we have guys that are defenders and rebounders at their position. They went out and tried to score. I mean, it's hard to win when you got a guy go 1 of 8 and a guy go 1 of 11. It was the same story as when we played Missouri. If your shots aren't falling, you got to have better shot selection.
Curtis.
Hey, Coach, did you see anything in particular from LSU defensively that maybe had you out of sorts there earlier, or was it more or less just kind of a lack of focus from the guys?
I mean, you got to give LSU credit for sure. It was a totally different defense than we faced with Missouri. So, I mean, again, when you get guys combined, 2 for 20, you're not going to. I mean, I don't see anybody on their stat sheet that that shot the ball that poorly. So, and quite frankly, our defense was just as bad. It wasn't just offensively.
Scotty.
Yeah, Coach, it seemed like you guys were much easier to defend tonight, especially I think in that first half. Is there anything you could point to there? Maybe what were some of the uncharacteristic things that you saw from some of the guys tonight?
No, I need to do a better job coaching.
Bob.
Eric, I know you don't like to call timeouts. By my count, you called 3 in the first 14 minutes or so.
I would have called 3 more, 5 more, 10 more if I would have had more.
What were you, I guess, how frustrating was that? Because I know you obviously calls timeouts to stop the bleeding, and I guess you got on a little bit of a late run there late in the half, but what were you telling the guys, and how frustrating was it that LSU just kind of kept pouring it on?
Well, LSU is a really, really talented team, and basically 1 through 5, they were able to beat us off the dribble. So defending your man individually. Look, the only guy that I thought really played hard, and actually 2 guys, I think Jalen Williams and Moses put forth, effort. And other than that, I think LSU, outcompeted us.
Watford and Days both had big games. What'd you think of those 2 guys? How tough were they to handle?
Now, they're awesome players. We had 0 answers for number 2, Watford and Days. 0.
Then you touched on Jalen. He took a couple more charges, good points, rebounds. I know he fouled out, but what'd you think about Jalen in particular?
I thought he played good. I mean, he played within his game. He's 2 for 3 from the field. He made his 3 free throws. He had 10 rebounds. I didn't think that he was, nervous about playing LSU. I think he did a great job.
And I know, obviously it's a tough loss, but the fact, you're down 31, you make it a little closer there. Is that a kind of carryover into Alabama, or do you just flush this one, or what?
No, I haven't. In 6 years coaching, I haven't. Maybe one other time in 6 years have I ever had a team, not play with great intensity.
What do you remember what that other one was? You talking about NBA or college or?
No, at New Mexico, when we were undefeated and ranked in the top 10. So it's a little bit different than this.
Yeah, I got a couple more, but I'll give it back to Mike if time allows.
Dudley,
Coach, obviously you talked about LSU having some talented players on offense, but was this more an effort and pride thing than it was technique tonight defensively?
LSU is really talented, and they took it to us.
Tom,
You mentioned Moses too, is giving good effort like Jalen. What'd you think of Moses' game?
Yeah, I thought Moses battled offensively. He had 5 offensive rebounds. I think he put forth, effort. And, when he was in the game, we were only -3, and he played 35 minutes. So, I felt like he and Jalen were the 2 guys that were the most productive tonight.
Tom,
Eric, LSU had run some of that 3-quarter trapping stuff against Ole Miss, so you knew it was coming. What did you not do against it that you wanted to do?
Make shots. I thought we had a lot of wide open shots. I thought we settled way too much early in the game. I didn't think we moved the ball enough.
Trey Biddy,
Yeah, Coach, obviously you were disappointed with their intensity in the first half. I'm curious how you handled that at halftime, because, they did come out and play harder, it seemed like, in the second half.
I would hope when you're down 30 or whatever you play, you play a little bit different.
final question, Trey Shat.
Hey, Coach, going into the game,
You muted, Trey.
were there some outside distractions maybe going on within the program?
Trey, we can't hear you.
Coach, can you hear me?
Yes.
And going into the game, do you feel like your team was fully focused on the game? Or are there distractions going on outside and not being fully prepared for the game?
No, I would have no idea what the distractions were. No, not to my knowledge, there isn't.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.